Hello artists, it's that time of the week. It's time for your art home learning. Over the past few weeks, we've explored the work of artists including Andy Goldsworthy, Peter Blake and Eileen Agar, each of who can be linked together by the theme of assemblage and collage, which we see running through lots of their artworks. Assemblage meaning the act of bringing together different elements to create a final piece that communicates a message or an idea or story. And collage, from the French, literally meaning cut out and stuck down. I have got a really interesting contemporary artist that I want to introduce you to today. She's called Clare Youngs. She's a British artist living and working today, and her passion is animal collages. You might enjoy a story called The Very Hungry Caterpillar by a man called Eric Carle. Well, to me, Clare Youngs is like a modern twist on Eric Carle's work, and I'm going to show you a selection of some of her animals, many of which feature in a book she's compiled called Animal Parade. Then I'll show you a quick little how-to as to how you may create your own buggy collage. And I think this week I expect to see a whole zoo coming in to the London South Art Hub inbox of your creations. I can't wait to see them. It'll be a real pop of colour. Just in time for the summer. Let's take a look at Clare's work.
In Young's insect and animal collages, she often starts with a base image or background. This can be a photograph, a piece of pattern paper, or even a vintage, very old book page. She then carefully selects and cuts out individual pieces from other sources like magazines, old books, or decorative papers, including wallpapers. What makes Young's collages so different is her attention to detail and the incredibly careful, meticulous, you might say, way she assembles the various pieces, the body parts, the toes, the legs, the tongues, the hair. She pays close attention to colour, texture, how the animal fur might feel, for example, and pattern, making sure that each part fits harmoniously, fits well together within the whole artwork, the whole composition, we would say. By layering and overlapping the cutout pieces, she adds depth to her artwork. Now, I think that Young's choice of materials is also important to think about. As I said before, she often incorporates vintage, old-fashioned illustrations and prints, and that gives her collages a nostalgic feel. And what I mean by that is it's like a smell that takes you back to another time when you were a bit younger, maybe. Nostalgic means memories of times past, of other people, places and things. And also, she may include hand-painted parts, which you might want to do in your collage piece today. She even uses textured papers and three-dimensional objects like buttons and fabric to add even further pieces of interest, tactile qualities to her artwork. Things that you want to touch and feel, or it makes you think that you could reach out and touch it. The subjects of Young's collages are really very different. They range from delicate butterflies and moths to vibrant birds, playful woodland creatures, and fearsome, beautiful, proud jungle beasts. She captures the beauty and the spirit of each animal or insect or bird through her careful selection of colours, patterns, and then the composition, how the whole artwork looks at the end. Overall, Clare Young's insect and animal collages really show off her creativity and skill as an artist. And it's through her totally unique combination of materials and her attention to detail that she creates such enchanting, captivating, and stunning artworks, all of which celebrate the beauty and diversity of our natural world.
To begin, you want to get all your materials ready together. Collage involves cutting and sticking or tearing and sticking. I've got my scissors here. Do use these with adult permission at home. Some glue, you could use PVA as well if you didn't have a glue stick. My drawing pencil, and helpful would be to gather together bits of newspapers, interesting colourful magazines. This one here, I've got bold, interesting colours. I've also got bits of paper that I've used for other art projects that I didn't quite finish, so I'm going to use those too, as well as my trusty bag of bits and bobs. In this trusty bag of bits and bobs, I've got tissue paper, I've got bits of fabric scraps. Never chuck away an interesting pattern piece is what I say. Drawing paper to draw my bugs on, and you can use greaseproof paper which you might have in the kitchen. I've got some tracing paper. They're very, very similar. I'll show you why I'm using this in a second. Now I've decided to go for some bugs inspired by Clare Youngs, and I'm going to make a host of bugs that are all going to be going to the Ugly Bug Ball. If you don't know the song, The Ugly Bug Ball, I highly recommend you Google it, you check it out. I really enjoy singing it to my little one. And here I'm starting to draw the body of the ant.
It's a simplified body. It's identifiable as an insect because it has 6 legs, and also because of the 3 segmented parts of the body: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. 1, 2, 3. But I'm not drawing loads of details. Bit like with this fly that I'm now sketching out. Now I'm going super quickly, but you'll take your time. Again, 6 legs, and these gorgeous wings, which I'm going to break down into parts, a bit like a stained glass window, because I think I could collage that really nicely. Definitely spend a bit of time thinking about what the head looks like, you know, with the eyes, the buggy eyes and the feelers, because that gives your insect character, your animal character. Overlaying the tracing paper or the greaseproof paper, I'm going to trace over my lines, as you can see. And what I do then is I put that over the top of whatever material I'm going to be using for the collage. I draw that on, and then I can cut out each part separately. Now, you don't have to do this. You could possibly do this by eye. You know, think about the different shapes you have. Don't have to use tracing paper. But what is important is that you think about the materials you're going to use to collage. I've got tissue paper here, a nice little green square, which I can scrunch up to add texture. I can even use it scrunched up into a ball for the face. What I love here is the organic shapes of the flower contrasted with the really geometric print of the tartan. Makes for an interesting contrast. Even adding in another dynamic, the zebra print.
Now, I know your creations will be totally unique in pattern and colour combinations. You can work on different scales. You might like to do mini beasts, or you might like to create large, roaring, dominating lions, elephants, walruses. Completely up to you. Maybe you'd be even inspired by Dickens' chickens. Whatever you make, don't forget to share your work with me at share@londonsouthArtHub.org, or pop along to the art room and share your work in person. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Cheerio!